Thank you very, very much. And I'm going to begin the questions, and I'm going to start with you, Ms. Bowers. As I outlined in my opening statement, EPA and Congress worked together to resolve liability issues with brownfield sites as a model of how we should work together on PFAS contamination. In that case, EPA relied on existing administrative tools to manage third-party contribution risk, while Congress considered whether a statutory fix was warranted. The EPA has suggested it might take a similar approach here, using settlement agreements to protect entities unintentionally swept into circle of liability. My question is, does the EPA's brownfields experience offer a useful precedent?
Thank you for that question, Chairman. It may. Prior to the Brownfields Act in 2002, which amended CERCLA, there was no specific exemption codified in statute for what's referred to as bona fide prospective purchasers. So prior to 2002, EPA used its enforcement discretion, just as it's indicated it intends to do with respect to designated PFAS. And it used that enforcement discretion in a few ways. The agency had issued guidance, and it developed a model agreement for prospective purchasers of contaminated property where an EPA action had been taken or was ongoing or was contemplated. And what EPA then did was enter into prospective purchaser agreements. These functioned and often contained covenants not to sue to protect those bona fide prospective purchasers from liability. The agency also issued something called comfort letters or status letters that related to and contained information about EPA's intent to pursue enforcement or not at a site. So again, there are some similarities to what EPA has indicated it would do with respect to PFAS, entering into settlement agreements to provide protection from third-party contribution claims, requiring waivers of rights in settlements with major PRPs. Would certainly also be options, as EPA has indicated, for limiting the liability of categories of parties.
Thank you. Thank you. And both of you, I have this question. Without clear PFAS disposal standards, landfills are refusing materials due to inconsistent acceptance criteria. We've already covered this in all of our statements. Routine construction debris is now being hauled hundreds of miles. Imagine that environmental impact. Across state lines simply because hazardous waste facilities are the only ones who will accept this material. This policy failure is driving up costs, overwhelming limited hazardous waste capacity, and generating unnecessary emissions from the long-haul diesel trucks. So what do you, I'll go to you, Ms. Pilconis first. What do you need to see from EPA's forthcoming disposal guidance to better manage this pathway?
Thank you for the question. So EPA does have destruction and disposal guidance out now, but it does not give contractors any actionable steps that provide any sort of certainty in the field. Where contractors have experience dealing with hazardous materials, lead, asbestos, PCBs, for example. But in that case, the construction industry is operating under a well-defined federal EPA playbook, laying out how to manage and dispose, laying out standards. That's what we need to see from EPA. We need clear risk-based thresholds. EPA needs to set background levels. We need concentration limits that will tell us and distinguish between restricted and unrestricted uses. Without that, contractors don't know whether PFAS impacted soil is actually contamination or whether it's acceptable for reuse. We also need clear disposal instructions. Contractors need to know which types of landfills can accept PFAS impacted materials and under what conditions. As we've discussed, many landfills are turning away PFAS suspect soil by default, so we're stuck with higher costs, longer hauls, project delays. Without national consistency, clarity, PFAS uncertainty is going to continue to inflate bids, disrupt competition, and increase infrastructure costs for taxpayers.
Mr. Gerstenberg.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman Capito. At Clean Harbors, we've done extensive analysis and testing, much of it with the EPA as well as the Department of War. We've outlined criteria in our written testimony that is the criteria that Leah is referring to that is needed by the EPA to release standards of thresholds that can be achieved for the safe cleanup and disposal of PFAS. We've outlined standards for high-temperature RCRA thermal incineration. We outlined standards for Subtitle C landfills, as well as Subtitle D landfills, industrial water, and drinking water. Those standards are based on science that has been accomplished over the past 20 years researching PFAS. We believe it is now time to lay out that guidance, those threshold levels, so that they can be used in the environment to help protect human health in the environment.
Thank you. I have a vote over on commerce, and I'm going to turn it over to Senator Husted, but I just want to make one quick comment. Kind of what I hear bleeding through all of this and what concerns me is you hear that guidance was released in 2024. We know that guidance can change from administration to administration, and obviously it hasn't been specific enough guidance because there's still a lot of gray area there. And so hopefully working with you all, we can find something that EPA can go to in a very permanent way. Because it was, I think, Ms. Bowers, you said something like a letter of assurance or something from the EPA. What was it? Comfort letter. There's a lot of people in this country that don't want a comfort letter from the EPA, I can tell you that, because that's kind of hard to imagine in some sense. But in any event, a comfort letter wouldn't probably give much certainty to a lot of the businesses and others that I think you all are expressing here. So thank you for being here. Hopefully I'll make it back from my vote. Thank you.
Thank you.